I've looked through the listings of all the major auction sites to see what's available in June. I'll share with you the major big books that I see and also a smattering of really rare books. These are the types of books that you might get a shot at once every 2-3 years, sometimes maybe once in a lifetime. And finally, there's some special items that are comic book related that I wanted you to see as well. So let's start with some of those huge comic books. First up is a book featured in the next Comic Connect auction is Iron Man #1. Most of you know I don't collect many books after 1965. This though needs to be mentioned, and it's not because of the book per se, it's because of the grade in 9.9. This is one of 3 in this grade. There's none higher. To boot, the last time a 9.9 sold was about a dozen years ago, and it sold for $100,000 at that time. So who knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars this will go for. Let's move on to a book on Heritage Auctions. We're talking about a really nice copy of Amazing Fantasy number 15 at an 8.0, very fine level. There was a copy not too long ago that was sold near $400,000, but the book's cooled off a little bit, but I still expect to see a $250,000 sale of Amazing Fantasy 15 at this grade. Let's move on to a book that is a little less well known, but really rare, especially in this grade. This is Captain America Comics number 10 from 1942. It's a beautiful Jack Kirby and Joe Simon cover. There's Bucky about ready to be the next entry in the Registry of Death. This particular copy hails from the San Francisco pedigree. Another Heritage Auction book is Amazing Spider-Man #1 at 9.4. Really nice copy, only I believe 3 copies higher than this one. This next one, which comes in at number 2, is an insane copy of Journey into Mystery, number 83, First Thor. It's a 9.4. There's only one single copy higher at a 9.6. One thing that was interesting to me is that 9.4, there's 11 copies in that grade though, so it's not quite as unusual in this grade as I thought. The biggest book, the most significant book, is this one. This is Captain America Comics #1 that needs no introduction. It's a 9.2, extremely high grade for any Golden Age book, and to have a grade like this for one of the biggest keys is amazing. There are 3 copies in 9.2. This is one of them, and 3 copies are higher. So this is the #1 book, the most expensive book we'll see for auction. My guess is this will sell for well over $1 million, might hit 2. Let me go from big books to books that are just really rare, hard to find. And one of them is coming up in Comic Connect. This is Daring Mystery Comics number 3. Awesome Alex Schomburg cover. I love the sort of pinks in the background there. And you had the woman who's bound up in that capsule, apparently going to be shot off. This is also a pedigree book. Larson pedigree, has white pages, and that 8.5 represents the highest graded copy. There's one other tied with it, so 2 total in that grade. For me personally, this dust shadow here up top bugs me a bit. Still a book I would like to have. Of course, this is the famous Punch Comics number 12. This is from Heritage Auctions. It's a 4.5. This book is just so tough to find in general. Classic skull cover, one of the top 5 covers of all Golden Age. This actually looks better than the grade, and the reason being it's got slightly brittle pages, so that might be a bit of a turn off. Now let's move on to a book that this is a really low grade, 2.5, and it's conserved. We're looking at a Comic Link book here. This is Pep Comics number 22. For those of you who don't know, this is the first appearance of Archie. Out of all the major Golden Age books, this one is the rarest. Any copy, universal or purple label, conserved, is just great to have. Sometimes I'm scrolling through comic books, and I've been scrolling through thousands, actually tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of books over the last 10 years. Sometimes a book comes up and I've never seen it. This is an example of this. It is Feature Books, No Number from 1937. A really cool Dick Tracy cover there. How many are on the census? 2. Now let me move on to the book that is, to me, the most impressive rare book, and it's Suspense Comics number 11. These suspense comics are really tough to find, and the 9.8 white pages, a book from 1946. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime book. The next highest copy is at a 9.4. It's a tough book to get. Great devil cover by L.B. Cole. I'm thinking that once a person gets this book, the next person, it might be locked away for 30 or 40 years, and then it might be handed off to a kid or a grandkid. So let me move from the rare books to some affiliated comic book art and so forth. This is a piece from Heritage Auctions, and it's a Frazetta work. It's called The Dark Kingdom painting, and he did it in 1976. This may be the most expensive thing that I've shown here in this video. It may go for more than the Cap number 1. Something else that's going to be pretty daggone expensive also from Heritage is a splash page from Captain America Comics #5. So this is Joe Simon and Jack Kirby once again. I believe 1941. Golden Age original art is really, really tough to find. I don't know what this will go for. Probably a couple $100,000 or more. And last, if you're a Batman and Robin fan of the TV show, somehow Heritage got hold of all this cool TV related items from ABC, including Letterman's desk, the outfit of I Dream of Jeannie, and then a bunch of this stuff. Here you go with a Batarang from the show. That's pretty sweet. Here's the Bat Shield. And last but not least, the original outfits of Batman and Robin. They have a reserve of $500,000. They put a buyer's premium on top of that, which is usually 20%. So to get into this game, it's going to be $600,000. I believe that there's more than one collector who's going to pay that amount. This is a bit of an experiment for me, posting information about the biggest sales in the following month. If you like this, let me know. It encourages me to maybe put out other videos like this. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the content, consider subscribing, and hope to see you around real soon.